It's Kam and Danni at BFBS, the Forces station, and on the line with us right now we have Peter Gibson and Emma Riley. Morning, guys.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Now, you are here to talk to us because it is Pride Month, and you are here to talk to us about Pride, certainly within the Forces.
Yes, that's right. But for us, Pride isn't just about the month of June. Pride is about the work that we do every single day of the year at Fighting with Pride. And our mission is to find all of those LGBT veterans who were impacted by the pre-2000 ban on gay service in the military. So I'm really grateful for you having us on in Pride Month to raise awareness about that.
Yeah, there was actually something that struck me was, especially in the last, I want to say 12 months, a lot of these people that were a part of that ban and experienced that, they're actually getting their medals now. You're hearing this more and more in the news that medals are being returned, those medals that were taken away. Do you have any stories like that? Anyone you've helped like that?
Dozens and dozens and dozens of stories. So Fighting with Pride was set up 5 years ago to fight for justice for those people who were impacted by the ban. We had the Etherton report brought about 49 recommendations, which led to the apology by the Prime Minister, a range of non-financial reparations where berets and badges are restored, medals are restored, and Lord Etherton's recommendations also included a number of financial reparations. We're not allowed to call it compensation. So a £50,000 payment for those people who were dismissed or discharged because of their sexuality, and an up to £20,000 payment for those people who were impacted by the ban at the time. So the really great thing about you having us on this show this morning to talk about this is that every single time Fighting with Pride is featured in the media, we find more LGBT veterans coming forward to get the justice that they deserve.
Peter very clearly said this is not a compensation scheme, and it really isn't. As an independent person, I'm trying to just, put out my story, which is also that I was arrested, interrogated and dismissed under the ban, and just be able to reach out as many people as we possibly can. I met a lady that said, you have to meet my wife, when she heard my story. And her wife turned out to be an RAF veteran who'd also been discharged under the ban and had been completely excluded from the veteran community for 40 or more years. And she's now been able to reconnect both with the veteran community and also go through a reparation ceremony that gives her those elements back that she never had before.
Based on the nature of the bans when they did happen, I can't imagine how alone and isolated you must have felt upon being arrested and interrogated.
I think it is the most harrowing experience I've ever been through. And basically what happened to me is that I told the wrong person. I told my friend I thought I might be gay, and pretty much that person just phoned up the SIB and reported me. So it was interrogation, searched through all my belongings, confiscating things which now look ridiculous. But yeah, it's an incredibly isolating situation. Not only are you being interrogated and humiliated, going through all of this trauma, but you're also then isolated from the rest of the base. Everybody knows what's going on. In my case, they sent me home to tell my parents. So I was forced to come out to my parents, and I was very lucky that my parents were supportive. Many other veterans had the doors slammed in their faces and ended up homeless after it. And once you get to the point where you're up at captain's table, you're told you're dismissed, your service is no longer required, you've got 48 hours to leave base. I was lucky enough to be picked up by my parents, but you're outside the door slams in your back, and that's it.
A bit of an open-ended question in terms of maybe looking ahead to the future, and obviously we've heard a lot about all the work with veterans that you're doing, and it's a huge piece of work. What about people who are currently serving? What are the conversations that are happening around those still currently serving?
Many employers out there who are keen to employ veterans in the workplace are not necessarily up to speed with the stories that we're telling you about people's treatment. And so we've launched a scheme called Pride in Veteran Standard, where we train and accredit employers. And that then puts that employer in a position whereby they can openly market themselves as an employer that understands what it means to have been an LGBT veteran. So the Pride in Veteran Standard is a way of helping to bridge that gap.
Yeah, I think it's really important, this education. It's been really lovely to speak to you both, actually. Is there anything in particular that we haven't covered yet that either one of you would like to discuss?
There will be people who are listening to your show who remember somebody that they once worked with who suddenly disappeared. They might still be in touch with them. If they can reach out to everybody that they know to make sure that they're aware of Fighting with Pride, aware of the reparations that they are entitled to, so that they get that justice that they deserve.
I would also say that for anybody who does hear about the scheme but feels trepidation at opening that Pandora's box and having to describe what's happened to them, there is a great deal of support that's out there. Their testimonies are treated with a huge amount of respect by the Ministry of Defence. And also there is a lot of support that Fighting with Pride have been able to arrange, so that if anybody was worried about trying to fill in one of these forms, there are people that are available to them to help them through that process. And I would absolutely encourage anybody, as Peter has said, to get in contact with either Fighting with Pride or just directly through the gov.uk website to the reparation scheme.
Peter, Emma, thank you so much for joining us on BFBS today, and good luck with everything in the future.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you so much.
BFBS.
Life is hard, and so am I.